Hello, everyone, and welcome to Penny for a Tale. It is Tuesday night by my best recollection. And we just got done interviewing Bryce Whitaker, creator of Baker Street, which is a game we are playing tonight. So stick around and watch these individuals try their best to be Sherlock Holmes. It will truly be an amazing time. But enough about me. Let's learn about our cast members on my left and top and bottom and stuff like that. So, Jasmine, why don't you go first and introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm sure you kind of have an idea of who this is again, but in case you forgot, I'm Jazz. I run the channel Geeky Nomad, where I share how to volunteer for conventions, whether it's a big conglomerate like San Diego Comic Con to smaller cons that are just for fans by fans. We're kind of on a little hiatus because I am working a lot, but come January, we'll be right back on track for our convention season. I also do a lot of body painting over there now and cosplay, and we do walkthrough tutorials for painting minis and little scatter terrain things. It's just lots of fun. You should go check it out. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, and I believe YouTube still. Not too sure on that, but it's just underscore. Everything's running together, lowercase, capital, that good stuff. So glad to be here again, and it's gonna be fun.
Heck to the yeah. All right, Terry.
Yeah.
Oh man, the suspense. Uh, Hi, my name is Terry, and I guess my group is LARP.com. We do a lot of live action role playing, and this is my first time doing a game like this, so super excited to see how it's going to go. I think it's going to be epic. I know my character is already epic because I get to wear a hat, and yeah.
Awesome stuff. All right, Corey.
Hey, Corey here. Also a contributor with LARP.com. Oh, wow, you saw my phone in there. Whoops.
Just bring up your social security next time so we have a good view of it. Maybe your credit card.
Right. Yeah, I'm also a GM and a LARPer gamer, the whole nine yards. Just looking forward to checking out this new game.
Heck yeah. All right, so today we are playing the Spectral Hound, which is actually a case that is based off of a Sherlock Holmes story. So it's actually one of Bryce Whitaker's one of his favorites, and there was like a show or movie or something. So definitely check that out. I forget what the title of it was, but I'm sure you will be able to find it with your savvy internet skills. The premise of Baker Street is post Moriarty and Holmes falling over the balcony into the waterfall and presumed dead. Watson trying to recover and move on with all these cases which are still coming into Baker Street requires the assistance of new investigators, and those happen to be these three who now reside on Baker Street with Miss Hudson, who is the landlady. So if you're a fan of the stories, you know all these names and such. So now they are responsible for hunting down the criminal masterminds of of the world. So we'll see how that plays out. But they've researched some cool things to say. But yeah, let's hop into it as we dive into an average day on Baker Street. Um, it is early morning. So intern, why don't each you guys describe yourselves as you kind of enter the apartment, or there is one bedroom, Watson's previous bedroom, which is open for you to live in. So either you're coming or you're waking up and getting ready for a day full of work. So yeah, whoever wants to start first, introduce your character, etc.
Oh, wait, what does that mean?
Whoever wants to go first.
Sure. So I arrive at, is it midday afternoon or are we
It is
about
crack of morning.
crack of morning? Okay. So I arrive in a carriage outside of 22 221B Baker Street. I dust myself off and I have my opera jacket because I just got done rehearsing. So I'm trying to rest my voice, but apparently I couldn't rest it enough because the footman has forgotten one of my bags. So I get down, give him a big ear biting, and then walk off and up to the door. I am in my late 20s and have a parasol in hand, have a really large cameo necklace. It's just super gaudy and you can't look away because it's like right there. And I knock on the door and I just wait for the lady of the house to come and get me.
All right. Mrs. Hudson comes downstairs, gives you a very excited smile, and says, "Welcome, Gertrude. Please come upstairs." She carefully goes up the stairs, putting a hand on her back as she does so, kind of complaining about the early morning and the aches and creaks of her bones and such, as she does. So, all right, how about Oliver or Mr. Fluffles?
Just to clarify, you said we're already employed with them, or?
Correct, yeah. You guys have been working together probably for a couple weeks, so you might know each other a little bit, but, not completely.
Okay. So I would think Oliver, even though employed, still trying to continue making his side business work. He's out on the nearest corner on a box, like doing his newsy thing, trying to sell newspapers. And if there's any shady-esque people, he would definitely have some secrets for them to sell as well. He would notice Gertrude coming up and kind of like wrap everything up, flip the box over, stuff the newspapers in, and run towards the door and slip in as it begins to close.
All right, and we zoom in on Mr. Fluffles.
So Mr. Fluffles would be walking down the street with a beautiful woman in each arm. He would gaze over at them and whisper something in their ear, to which they would chuckle and giggle. And then it would be a quick kiss as they got to the door, and Mr. Fluffles would then greet Mrs. Hudson.
All right, she says, "Oh, hello, dear boy. Please come upstairs. Last night we had a visitor, and I wanted you three to know about it." And she continues on upstairs with Gertrude and Oliver following her. So when you guys come up, Mrs. Hudson says, so as she kind of leans into a seat, so last night a Dr. Mortimer came by, was very much inquiring concerning you all. And as you can see, he left his cane, and she points at a cane on the side of the wall. It's just kind of leaning onto it. It is a kind of a wooden cane with a silver top to it. Looks, it's something that probably Gertrude has seen more of. Very nicely done. She says he should be returning sometime this afternoon. So hopefully you'll be able to catch him before you're doing anything else. Would you like some tea?
Yes, I'll take 1 cup, a little bit of milk, a little bit of sugar, and honey if you have any.
Of course, Gertrude. I always have honey for you.
Yeah. You're all about that cat lap. Do you have anything harder?
What do you mean?
Come on, some alcohol.
No, Oliver. We do not have alcohol. Why don't you have tea? It's good for someone of your stature. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Fine. And he grabs the cup and just like pours a lot of sugar, way too much sugar in there, and goes over to the cane I want to examine the cane. Is there any symbols or anything like that on there?
So this comes up to one of the main mechanics of Baker Street. Every kind of investigation scene is divided up into three. First is the investigation round, then is the reasoning round, and then there is the deduction round. And so how this works is usually the person with like the highest investigative role will be the main person, with everyone else providing half their die pool if they are at least average in it. So 3 dice they have to have in order to support you. So I guess first off, unless Oliver wants to be the investigator, does anyone else have a higher investigation?
Would that literally be investigation, or could we use like observation?
Well, I don't think there is a skill investigation, is there?
You can
No,
use observation, yes.
Observation.
So my observation is 3, and I am proficient in it.
All right. If people are assisting him, if you at least have a 3, you can give a +1.
I'll
Was this with deduction?
All right, so you have observation as well and are providing a +1.
Oh no, I have deduction.
Deduction that will come later.
Okay.
I have observation, so I'll assist +1.
All right, and how about Oliver?
So yeah, I mean, I have observation. I'm proficient in it.
All right, how many dots do
3.
you have in it?
3.
All right. So since Oliver was the first one there, we'll say Oliver is the main investigator. So Oliver, you have 3 dice, with Mr. Fluffles giving you 1 additional dice for assisting you. Gertrude isn't exceptionally good at observation, so she cannot assist. So you are rolling right now 4 dice. You can, of course, use a characteristic, which will give you an additional dice if it kind of involves it. Or you can use determination, or I'm sorry, resolve points, which everyone starts off with 3. But
Okay.
it's up to you.
So the question would be, I have street smarts as well, and I have a specialty specifically in professional crime.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where he's going for. He's trying to see if there's any symbols or sigils that link to professional crime specifically.
Well, first let's do observation right
Okay,
now.
so it'd be different. I got you.
Yeah, that'll be a different roll.
I don't have anything else that works in here, so I'll do the 4. And then, what am I looking for?
You were looking for 4, 5, and 6.
Ooh, I have 2 6s and a 5.
All right, so 2 6s and a 5, so that is 3 successes.
Can't show it. Whatever.
You're proficient, correct? So you get to roll those 6s again.
Yeah, if you're proficient, you get to roll those 6s again.
So basically, they count as successes and then roll them again to get more.
Correct.
Ooh. Watch these be like 3s. I'll fix my camera in a second. Oh my freaking gosh! I wish someone was here to. These are 2 5s.
Hey.
I'm telling you, I gotta. Let's see. There's gotta be a way. I'm needing one of those dice cameras. See right there, 2 5s.
All right, and I'm gonna roll the Sherlock Holmes dice to see what else occurs.
Oh, Moriarty's coming in. I already know it because I have a negative of always caught.
It is a 3 at this time.
Okay.
So your 3s also count as successes. So what are your total successes?
I didn't have any 3s, so it'd have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, awesome. So 3 was the DC. So you got 1 clue out of that, and then every success after that gives you an additional clue. So I'll read them off to you guys. So as you're looking at this this cane, an inscription on the cane reads "Friends of the CCH." Another clue that you get is that the inscription on the cane is dated 5 years ago. And your third clue is that there are teeth marks on the cane.
Are they like human teeth marks or animal teeth marks?
It's hard to say at this point in time, but I can give you kind of... So the leads within every clue kind of help you to try to figure out different theories of what it could be. So for the first one, an inscription on the cane reads of the CACH. Lead A is some sort of country hunt club. Most likely the man gave the hunt club some form of assistance, probably medical help. Lead B is the H might represent a hospital where the doctor worked. The letter CC could mean Charing Cross, but that would put him in London, not the country. Lead C is it's a possible charitable organization. Either C could mean country or charity. Concerning the clue of the inscription, dated 5 years ago, lead A is the cane was a gift to him leaving. B, the cane was a gift based on the anniversary. C, the cane was given as some monumental service at the time. And for the teeth marks, it could be A, caused by a giant hound like a mastiff. B, caused by a small dog like a terrier. Or caused by a middle-sized dog like a spaniel. And so what we move now into is the reasoning round, where you kind of figure out which clues are necessary and which ones are just kind of like red herrings. So yeah, it is reasoning. Who's your best reasoning?
Not me. Come on, Fluffs. Little gal sneaker.
What skill would go with that? Criminal
There's-
artistry?
There's reason. That's your skill.
Would that be perception?
So either you have reason or some other kind of
Specialty.
yeah.
So it'd be just straight reason.
if you have it.
I don't have anything like that.
Really?
I have reason for 3.
There you go, Gertrude.
Hey, about
Get it.
news for me.
This is your moment. All right. It doesn't sound like anyone else has any reason. So Gertrude, why don't
Can
you go
I
ahead?
charm Gertrude to give her some additional? Like,
Does
a
that
couple-
work? How does that work?
Not in this case. I don't know if you could charm her to look at the the stick better. But
So-
Gertrude, you can, of course, you're rolling the 3, and
Right.
then you can use your resolve points to give yourself an additional die, if you want, up to 3 dice.
Okay. Well, I'm not proficient in it, so just 3.
Oh wow, yeah. You don't have reason, do you? Whew.
Oh. So we've got, what is that? 2 4s and a 5.
Awesome.
And
All right, so that's 3 successes. I rolled the Watson on the die, so that just gives you an additional success. So total success was 4. What you needed for this was 3. So you can pretty much check to see if any of these, which ones are like good leads and which ones are false leads. But you get to ask me which ones you want to check.
okay. So Do I only get to check one, or
You
do
get
I
to check
check all
two.
three? Two? Okay.
Mhm.
So the first one I want to check is the initials.
All right. The Friends of the CCH.
Yes.
That is a valid lead. Yes.
Okay. And then, oh boy, the next one.
What would dogs have to do with? Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah. What kind of bite marks are those? Is it for? Are they even dog?
So let's see. So I guess you're checking to see if the teeth marks are a valid lead.
Yes.
Okay, they are. Which comes to the next question that you have, which is the deduction round. This is when you get to look through the leads and try to figure out which are true and which are false. So you could figure out, like, yes, this is actually the thing, instead of having kind of all these other little things kind of confusing the issue at times.
Okay. So during that time when Oliver picked up the staff, I kind of lean over as I'm sipping my tea. I'm having these thoughts about the CCH part of the friends from what I can see. And then looking at the bite marks, I just kind of keep it to myself and continue having my tea, resting my voice.
All right. Does anyone have deduction?
I have 3 again. Aha!
All right. Anyone else have deduction?
Nope.
All right, Gertrude, this is your moment once again. So remember, you can use resolve to increase your die pool up to 3 as usual.
Nope, just 3.
All right.
Okay. So we've got 1 4 and 2 5s.
Awesome. All right, so that's 3 successes.
Okay, so
all right, so you can figure out, in concerning the leads, 3 kind of if they are false or if they are true. So which ones did you want to use or check? And of course, I can read them out again too if you want.
If you could read them again, I already forgot what the last one was.
Which clues did you want? Did you want me to read from first?
So, the first clue was the cane given as a gift.
Yeah, it says the Friends of the CCH.
Okay.
All right. So lead A is some sort of country hunt club. Most likely, the man gave the hunt club some form of assistance, probably medical help. B, the H might represent a hospital where the doctor worked. The letter CC could mean Charing Cross, but that would put him in London, not the country. And lead C, it's a possible charitable organization. Either C could mean country or charity.
Okay. Lead. I guess lead A. Would that be true?
All right, lead A is false. So you know
Okay.
that because every clue has 2 false and 1 true. So you know that lead A is false. You kind of recognize in your mind, like, no, that can't be it.
Okay, and lead B would be
The next one you want to uncover?
maybe actually slight metagaming, guys. Which one do you think I should go after?
yeah, this is, of course, everyone kind of discussing this as a player type thing too.
Sorry, I wasn't actually listening because I thought she was keeping this all to herself, so I was spacing out.
Well,
So
yeah.
she has deduced that it's definitely not sort of country hunt club.
Oh, try B,
It's got to be
the
the
one that's in London rather than the country.
yeah.
Okay. Back in character, thinking about lead B.
All right. So as you recollect, you definitely deduce that the H must represent a hospital where the doctor worked. The letter CC could mean Charing Cross. If that would put them in London, not the country. That is indeed true. So you've used up 2. You got 1 more lead. You can either unveil of sorts, and you have 6 leads left.
Okay. So H was the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Was true. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
And then so lead C. That would be
You know that lead C is false.
is false. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the 5 years ago
Mm-hmm. And then
what
the
it's
teeth
for.
marks.
and the teeth marks.
Yeah.
Why don't we see?
Wait, the
What
5 years
doc-
ago was the red herring, I thought.
No, she was only able to uncover the truth about 2 of the clues. So Friends of the CCH and Teeth Marks on the Crane are both valid leads.
Yeah, I got that.
But the second clue is unknown. The clues, there could, in terms of clues, they could all be valid, or some of them could be not. They're not as formulaic as the leads.
Gotcha.
Well, we know that the teeth marks is good.
Yeah.
So what were
So-
the 3 leaves?
We know that the teeth marks, it's either a big mastiff. Well,
Mhm.
pretty much it's either a big, a middle, or a small dog is the gist
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. A mastiff, a small dog like a terrier, or a middle-sized dog like a spaniel.
So it should be pretty easy though to deduce the size of the teeth on the thing, right?
Sometimes. I mean, it's really like it really depends on how familiar you are with teeth and bite marks.
Okay, so we'll go with the bites then.
All right, which lead?
Lead A.
You know that it is false. Looking at it, the teeth marks definitely look like it either could be a small or a medium-sized dog, but you're not sure which one.
And you're really sure it's not big because I go, it doesn't fit my teeth. It's too small.
Yeah, and so that was the kind of the investigation flow, as if you remember, like any Sherlock Holmes movie or story, as a group of people kind of stare at an object and kind of recollect in their mind the connections that flow in your brain. This is what has been happening here as you guys stare upon this cane.
Okay, so with that known, and that ends my turn for the deduction phase, right?
Yeah, we are done with the investigation.
Okay.
And we're trying to find Dr. Moriarty. Yes.
No, she, Mrs. Hudson told you that it's Mortimer, came by last evening and he left his cane, but he should be back here this afternoon.
Okay. So I will ask Miss Hudson, when the doctor came to visit you, did he seem sort of out of sorts? Was he well? Was he hunched over from a wound of some kind?
Oh, he actually seemed slightly panicked. It seemed pale.
Mrs. Hudson, did he tell you why he was here or what his intentions were?
He wanted to hire you out. He spoke of a curious case concerning the countryside. He wouldn't speak on it more, but he did seem like he was in a hurry.
Did he say where he was going?
No, but I assume it was pretty late. I assume back to his hotel.
Mrs. Hudson, is this cane real silver? And I like hit it with my thumbnail. Ding ding.
I believe so. Yes, Oliver.
So you said that he was going to be returning to his hotel. Did he say which hotel he was staying at?
Oh, he will be returning here, he said. When he came upon last night, he was hoping to meet you three, but you three had already departed. So I told him to drop by tomorrow in the afternoon. So hopefully he should be here in about an hour or two.
So time to eat lunch.
Of course. Let me prepare you guys something.
All right. No Bow Wow mutton, please.
All right. So you guys enjoy a lovely lunch as you guys kind of wait for Dr. Mortimer. Eventually, around the afternoon, you hear the sound of a carriage clopping to a stop just outside Baker Street. Looking through the
at the
window,
window.
a well-dressed young man steps out of the carriage with his spaniel. He makes his way onto Baker Street and knocks on the door, where Mrs. Hudson comes down and brings him up to meet you guys. His dog following close on his heels. As he looks at you all, he says, "Greeting, I am Dr. Mortimer."
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Mortimer. I get up and do like a slight little curtsy.
And I go
These
behind
are-
her and like half-ass curtsy all mockingly. Good, nice to meet you.
And I want to just greet his dog. I'm gonna get down and be like, "Come here, little fellow."
Yeah, I think the spaniel's just like very
Can I,
excited to see you.
Can I observe to see if maybe this is the dog, the right size of the one that was chewing on the stick?
Yeah, go ahead and make an observation roll.
And just to clarify, that cane is gone, right? Wink, wink. It's gone. It's no longer in that room.
Are you guys hiding his cane?
Not them guys.
It's the urgent thing to do.
All right, so I have a 4 and a 5, so 2 successes, but I'm not proficient.
All right. This is definitely the dog who is chewing on his cane.
Aha. And what's the little guy's name?
Oh, this little one here, Dr. Hilbert.
Dr. Hilbert. He
I
has a
didn't-
medical degree.
Wasn't aware that dogs were able to have medical degrees.
Oh, it's kind of in this case passed on in the family. But I'm glad you are here. There is something I very much need your opinion on. Although I'm not sure a detective over a priest is a correct choice. I live in Dartmoor. I'm a country physician to the locals. The moor is very sparsely inhabited, and those who live near each other are thrown very much together. For this reason, I saw a good deal of Sir Charles Baskerville. With the exception of Mr. Frankland of Laughter Hall and Mr. Stapleton, the naturalist, there are no other men of education within many miles. Sir Charles was a retiring man, but the chance of his illness brought us together, and a community of interest in science kept us up. He had brought back much scientific information from South Africa, and many a charming evening we have spent together discussing the comparative anatomy of the natives. Within the last few months, it became increasingly plain to me that Sir Charles's nervous system was strained to the breaking point. He had taken this legend so much so that, although he would walk in his own grounds, nothing would indulge him to go out upon the moor at night. And as he speaks, he pulls out several sheets of paper, which has on its titled "The Legend of the Spectral Hound," and hands it to Gertrude.
I take it and pass it off to someone else.
I'll take it and read it.
All right. So the legend reads as so. Now then, that in the time of the Great Rebellion this manor of Baskerville was held by Hugo of that name, nor can it be gainsaid that he was a most wild, profane, and godless man. It chanced that this Hugo came to love the daughter of a yeoman who held lands near the Baskerville estate, but the young maiden, being discreet and of good repute, would ever avoid him, for she feared his evil. So it came to pass that one Michaelmas, this Hugo, with 5 or 6 of his idle and wicked companions, stole down upon the farm and carried off the maiden. When they had brought her to the hall, the maiden was placed in an upper chamber, while Hugo and his friends sat down to a log carouse, as with their nightly custom. Now the poor lass upstairs was like to have her wits turned at the singing and shouting and terrible oaths which came up to her from below. For they say that the words used by Hugo Baskerville when he was in wine were such as might blast the man who said them. At last, in the stress of her fear, she did that which might have daunted the bravest or most active man. For by the aid of the growth of ivy, which covered and still covers the south wall, she came down from under the eaves, and so homeward across the moor, there being 3 leagues betwixt the hall and her father's farm. If chanced that some little time later Hugo left his guest to carry food and drink, with other worse things perchance to his captive, and so found the cage empty and the bird escaped, then, as it would seem, he became as one that hath a devil, for, rushing down the stairs into the dining hall, he sprang upon the great table, flagons and trenchers flying before him, and he cried aloud all the company that he would that very night render his body and soul to the powers of evil, if he might but overtake the wench. And while the revelers stood aghast at the fury of the man, once more wicked, or, it may be, more drunken than the rest, cried out that they should put the hounds upon her. Whereat Hugo ran from the house, crying to his groom that they should saddle his mare and unkennel the pack, and giving the hounds a kerchief of the maid's, he swung them in line, and so off full cry in the moonlight over the moor. Hugo's men pursued a few minutes behind their lord. They had gone a mile or 2 when they passed one of the night shepherds upon the moorlands, and they cried to him to know if he had seen the hunt. And the man, as the story goes, was so crazed with fear that he could scarce speak, but at last he said that he had indeed seen the unhappy maiden with the hounds upon her track. But I have seen more than that, said he. For Hugo Baskerville paused me upon his black mare, and there ran mute behind him such a hound of hell as God forbid should ever be on my heels. So the drunken squires cursed the shepherd and rode onward. Riding slowly in this fashion, they came at last upon the hounds. These, though known for their valor and their breed, were whimpering in a cluster at the head of a deep dip, or guyole, as we call it, upon the moor, some slinking away, and some with startling hackles and staring eyes, gazing down the narrow valley before them. The company had come to a halt, more sober men, as you may have guessed, than when they started. The moon was shining brightly upon the clearing, and there in the center lay the unhappy maiden where she had fallen, dead of fear and of fatigue. But it was not the sight of her body, nor yet was it that of the body of Hugo Baskerville lying near her, which raised the hair upon the heads of these 3 daredevil roisterers. But it was that standing over Hugo and plucking at his throat, there stood a foul thing, a great black beast shaped like a hound, yet larger than any hound that ever mortal eye had rested upon. And even as they looked, the thing tore the throat out of Hugo Baskerville, on which, as it turned its blazing eyes and dripping jaws upon them, the 3 shrieked with fear and rode for dear life, still screaming across the moor. One, it is said, died that very night of what he had seen, and the other twain were but broken men for the rest of their days. Such is a tale of the coming of the hound, which is said to have plagued the family so surely ever since.
Can I use an observation to see how old the papers are.
Of course.
Okay, I got 2 6s, but I'm not proficient.
All right. I got the Sherlock Holmes die, though unfortunately I don't think you had any other dice.
Oh, I had 3. I had a 2 too.
Oh, excellent. So you could name 2 as a success as well, giving you 3 successes. These papers look very much old, something that's probably been passed down from generation to generation.
Is there a name on who wrote them?
There is not.
Just to clarify, was Mr. Fluffles reading that out loud, or was he just reading it to himself?
I would have read it out loud.
Okay. Oliver's asleep on the couch.
You're like,
Dr. Mortimer, what exactly does this story have to do with your case for us?
I'm glad you asked. On the night of Sir Charles's death, Barrymore, the butler, who made the discovery, sent Perkins the groom on horseback to me, and as I was sitting up late, I was able to reach Baskerville. Within an hour of the event, I checked and corroborated all the facts which were mentioned at the inquest. I followed the footsteps down the yew alley. I saw the spot at the moor gate where he seemed to have waited. I remarked the change in the shape of the prints after that point. I noted that there were no other footprints save those of Barrymore on the soft gravel, and finally I carefully examined the body, which had not been touched until my arrival. Sir Charles lay on his face, his arms out, his fingers dug into the ground, and his features convulsed with some strong emotion, to such an extent that I could hardly have sworn on his identity. There were certainly no physical injuries of any kind, but one false statement was made by Barrymore at the inquest. He said that there were no traces upon the ground round the body. He did not observe any, but I did. Some little distance off, but fresh and clear, paw prints of a hound. So, you guys, as per the game, can ask him 4 questions without raising the threat level. So think carefully.
Can we negotiate these before we ask?
You guys can talk among yourselves to kind of figure out what questions you want to ask.
I'd like to know where he got the papers from himself, because they had to come from someone that had something to do with the property, right?
Man,
And then-
that would be a good one. We only get 4.
All right, is that it? That's your first?
Do we want to use that as our first question?
Does anybody have any other questions?
I'd like to know how much that cane's worth.
Okay.
Hypothetically speaking, you know.
We could also ask him if there were any other like health conditions that could cause what he saw. Other, like, because he's a doctor, what medical conditions or what his prognosis would be.
All right, we'll go with your first question that you wanted to ask, which is, say again.
Where did he acquire the papers from of the written story?
The papers have long since been passed down to many of the folk who live in the moor. My copy, though many of the other families have a copy of it, was passed down by my father and from his father's father.
Okay. And then the next question we would want to ask is, were there any other records on the health condition of Sir Charles?
Sir Charles appeared to, despite having anxiety issues of late, seems to be of peak physical condition.
I think what we're trying to discover more is could it have been like a poison or a toxin or
No, there were no anomalies within his blood, no injuries upon his body that would suggest that something occurred to him.
Hmm.
Some murder, of course. I assume that's what you presume.
oh, here's a really good question, guys. What about who stands to acquire all of the wealth that he left behind?
Ah, well, there is an heir to Baskerville Hall, a Henry Baskerville, who has spent much time in Canada. The estate agents have him returning to London tonight. Sir Charles is dead. His middle brother is also dead, but Henry is the middle brother's son, and the third brother died in South Africa, leaving Henry the sole heir. If you would like, tomorrow I would like you all to meet Mr. Henry Baskerville.
That would be lovely. Oliver, did you have a question?
No.
All right, you guys did have one more question left.
I don't think it could hurt, but could you tell us more about this Friends of CCH?
The Friends of CCH. Of course. It is actually where I practiced medicine for some time before I eventually moved out to the moor. It is Charing Cross in London where I performed my residency. And with that, he lets you know the location of the place for breakfast tomorrow morning. And we'll head out with his spaniel. Is his cane about?
Oh, where'd it go?
It's a very good question indeed.
He
Mrs.
leaves
Hudson,
without
did
the
you
cane.
misplace it?
This is also like, I haven't seen it. It was over there. He says, well, if it does turn up, let me know. And he exits. All right. Doing anything else before the morning?
I'd like to go out to the hospital that he says he worked at.
Mm-hmm.
and
In
just-
London?
Aren't we? We're close, yes? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to find out a history about him, like how long he worked at the hospital. Was he native to the area?
Mm-hmm. All
Couldn't
right.
you just ask him?
Well, that's valid. So you go over to the hospital. What skill would you like to use?
I'm gonna find the oldest lady that I can, who's probably been there forever, and try to charm and seduce her into some friendly persuasion.
So there is a Mrs. Williamson, who looks old as the grave, with wrinkles sunken down like trenches in World War One, with even dirt marks along those lines. She stares up at you with this intense glare, and roll.
Hello, young lady. You are looking so beautiful today. I was looking for some information and was hoping that you could help me.
Information about what?
Well, there was a doctor, and I was just so curious. I'd love to hear some of his story, and if you were familiar with him.
All right, come on, boy, spit the name out.
It was Dr. Mortimer.
Dr. Mortimer, he is a fine gentleman, a doctor of good repute here in the hospital. Sad to see him move out to the country, though.
Oh, so he always lived here in the city.
He has lived here for some time. I know his family house is out in the moors. But yeah, he chose to reside there and engulf himself in the affairs of countryside men and women.
And why would someone do that? I understand there's not very much civilization out there.
There is not, but for a learned man, there might be opportunity to pursue the things that interest you concerning the sciences. I believe he was most curious about several scientific papers that he wished to continue to study along, and he found
Oh.
the hospital work too busy.
What kind of things was he looking into? Do you remember?
I do not. No, my mind is... It's difficult sometimes to think back that far.
Oh, that could have only been a few years ago. You're
This is
so young and beautiful.
Oh. Why don't you go ahead and roll your seduction?
All right, so I'm going to use one of my perks, which is being a ladies' man.
I just want you to wake up in the morning with her beside you. A long
Oh,
night
she's
of
totally
love
going to
making.
Baskerville with us.
Well, opportunity lover. There you go.
The case will be the case of the old woman who had a heart attack.
The case of what does Mr. Fluffles have now? What's that
All right.
rash?
So I have 4 successes.
Ooh, yeah, she is enamored with you. You can see it in her glistening, but sleep-deprived eyes as she stares up at you. Her glasses kind of poking up.
Oh, could you please find some papers or give me some information on what he was working on? I would be so much in your debt.
Yeah, I can give you some of his library information. And she goes into several folders and pulls one out. And I believe this is something that you might help you. And actually, if you are ever so kind and are free this evening, we could meet each other at a coffee shop just down the street.
Oh, I would love that.
Excellent. Well, I shall make the arrangements. And your name is?
Mr. Fluffles.
A pleasure, Mr. Fluffles.
Oh no, the pleasure is all mine. Wink, wink.
It will be. As she saunters away with her cane.
So I'd like to take that library information and go find out what the doctor was working on.
So most of what you see concerns human anatomy, as well as foreign or exotic medicine practices from like different countries such as Asia and Africa.
Will they like let me check this out or make a copy of it?
Yeah, you can take this paper yourself.
Okay, I'm gonna take it.
All right. All right. So anything else before the morning? Other than a wonderful night between
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Fluffles and the older lady. All right. So you guys arrive next morning. You all pile into a growler and head to Lake's, a nice restaurant for breakfast. Dr. Mortimer and his companion already have a table. Everyone stands, and Henry Baskerville extends his hand to shake with each of you as he introduces himself. Yes, excuse me this morning if I am not my jovial self. Someone at the hotel took one of my new shoes. When I complained, they located it and returned it, but this morning, once again, just one of my shoes is missing. This time from my older favorite pair. So I'm breaking into my new shoes today. Either that boot comes back before sundown or I go straight out of this hotel. Mortimer turns to Henry and says, you should show them the letter. Yes, of course. Gentlemen and lady, Henry begins. I have received this note last night. Some sort of warning. As he hands you the note, you see that it reads, as you value your life or your reason, keep away from the moor. Each word is a newspaper clipping except the word more, which is spelled out in ink.
Okay.
And if you guys want to look it over, you can make an observation test.
I do not have any one of those. So if one of you lads would like to look.
I can't read, man. I can't read. I ain't looking at
Oh.
nothing.
I'll
I mean,
I'll
I
do
guess.
observation.
Yeah.
can do
No, I
perception.
can. I can. Oh, perception. I was gonna say for observation, the only thing I can think of is putting two things together. But I don't think we have two things of paper except
No.
for the.
Hmm.
All right, so Mr. Fluffles, go ahead and make that roll.
Are you able to assist me, Oliver?
Not with perception.
Oh,
What about observation?
Yeah, I mean I'm proficient in observation.
Yeah, you can assist with you give an additional 1.
What's this word say? It looks like this word.
Okay. So I have 6, 5, 4. So 3 successes.
Perfect, that's what you need. These words are all common words, except for more. The writer couldn't find the word, so he or she had to write it out. That is all you get with 3 successes. Also, everyone gained 1 point of resolve.
hey, we had that to
The 3 we had.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask Mr. Baskerville, what happened to your shoe? It was disappeared one day, and then another shoe was disappeared the next.
Yes.
What did the hotel say that they found it?
The shoe that was returned to me was returned within my room, so I assume it was one of the hotel's, one of the shoe cleaning services that might have gotten a little too excited. I am not sure at this point in time, but I have raised some complaints, and no doubt will be leaving this hotel if it happens again.
And then I'm gonna turn to Dr. Mortimer. Were you staying at the same hotel by chance?
Yes, I was actually. I reside in this very hotel.
Interesting.
Did any of your stuff go missing?
No, other than my cane, I've had a pretty relaxing time here in London.
Yeah, you got to get that hotel. Terrible.
hmm So,
Is
as you
the,
guys are looking around, let's see, Mr. Fluffles, you're a people person. And actually, Oliver, too, with kind of like your background in criminal activities and such, you guys get the attention of a man of medium height with a black beard. As soon as you guys make eye contact with him, the man springs from the door and heads off.
Dad!
Pursuit.
All right, you guys, Mr. Fluffles gets up. Does Oliver give chase as well?
Sure.
You guys both kind of chase after, but there's staff and patrons in the way. It is very difficult, and by the time you get outside of the hotel, you notice a cab going down the street.
Okay. Now, just to clarify, I'm pretty dodgy. Like, I'm pretty, like, I can swim through people, so to speak. So would I see anything off the cab that would tell me how to differentiate it between, like, I guess where it's going, maybe, or?
Hard to say where it's going, but you do notice that the individual seems to be rifling with his face. Maybe a disguise of some sort. Who knows?
Mhm. How far away is it right now?
Several meters, so you could get another cab and try to flag it down, but the chances of following this cab are really hard.
You
Okay,
have
especially
a
in London.
good idea of the city, though, right, Oliver? Maybe we can cut him off.
That's what I was thinking.
Gertrude's gonna poke her head out the doors. Is everything all right?
Come with. So yeah, like we're darting, and I'd kind of like be like, follow me.
All
and
right, what
I-
skill are you using for this endeavor?
So I'd assume to be able to navigate accordingly, it would be like street smarts.
Yeah, that'll work.
So I have 3 on that.
Mm-hmm.
It is I'm proficient in it. So
All right, go ahead.
Can I assist him with like dodge? And he can
Yes,
dodge
of
up and down
course.
the
Yeah.
street?
So you'll give him what's your dodged, Mr. Fluff?
4.
All right, so you actually give 2 dice because it's half rounded down.
cool. Mine's 4 as well, but that doesn't matter for this one. Oh, watch this be all bad. Oh, actually, wait. You said 4, 5s, and 6 are good?
Yes,
Mhm.
Oh, hell yes.
and also
3.
and also 2s.
No, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, I gotta show you this.
That's
So-
it. I vote that we have a dice cam from now on. We
I
just
know,
don't-
right?
I'm telling you, I got 4, 4, 4, 6, 2.
Ooh, nice.
So I get to roll 1 more 6. Okay, that was a 1. Boo, you dice. You ruined that. Perfect. So that's 5.
Excellent. So you're kind of racing down the street, Mr. Fluffles and Oliver, as you guys try to catch this individual and cut him off on a pass. Unfortunately, he is kind of lost in the ever-growing city with different cabs and everything like that. But as you come upon a street, you notice that there is a beard on the ground, one that could obviously be put on.
You.
Probably real human hair. That's
Mm-hmm.
or horse
Can
hair.
I ingrain that?
Pick it up, dude.
So I want to.
At the rear with my dress just hiked up. Try not to show too much angle, but like
Is it
I'm not a
possible to draw like a picture of the man without the beard?
You believe you can, yeah.
I mean, I probably draw a beautiful woman all the time.
Yeah.
Is one of my skills.
You just
But
draw
have
the
you drawn
face of a man
men?
with the body of a beautiful woman.
Exactly.
I'll model the beard for you. Give you an idea of the opposite.
Excellent. All right, so you have this face of this individual who you very well may think is behind the beard. As you return, Henry Baskerville asks, "Where did your chase lead you to?"
I'm going to show him the picture. Do you recognize this man?
No, it does not. I don't know. But nonetheless,
What about
What?
this guy? And I put the beard up to the paper.
no, I'm sorry. Though that is gross. Why don't you, since I want to hire your services concerning what happened to my father, why don't you come down to Dartmoor? I'll pay for your tickets, and you can stay at my estate.
my eyes light up as I hear estate.
Is it like outside the city?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't like that.
Oh,
like
come now, Oliver.
swamp
That'd be
land.
lovely.
Can I just stay where I'm at and you just bring me a cart every day and I'll come over and hang out and go home?
Ignore him. He's coming along.
Excellent. I'll have tickets ready for you by the afternoon, and we will make sure to pick you up at the appropriate hour.
Is Dr. Hilbert present?
Dr. Hilbert, he is indeed present, currently stationed right next to Dr. Mortimer, being a good puppy.
I'm going to remove my shoe and offer it to him.
The dog looks pretty well trained. It does not move closer.
Okay, I'm going to
So
put my
it's
shoe back on.
curious. All
Are you
right.
trying to blame the dog for the missing shoes? That is rude.
I'm not saying anything.
He's narrowing down suspects. We're all in it.
It could be Gertrude, as far as everyone knows.
Ah,
I might have a shoe fetish. You never know. But I just got there, so
I'm gonna offer my shoe to Gertrude.
Mhm.
and I just kind of is that patent leather? Honestly,
Only the finest, admittedly.
The best.
the French do so much better. So much better.
Later that evening, you guys pull into the station at Dartmoor. When you emerge, you find several police officers looking around and asking the local folk questions.
And I hide.
You're like, nope.
I'm just gonna saunter on up to one of the police officers and use my stage performance and ask them, "Hello, I would love to know exactly what is going on."
So actually, in this case, since you were kind of this presence, you can use your status to give you a bonus on your roll.
Yeah.
So
All
you
right.
roll your status.
Whoop. All right. So I got 4.
Can I assist her with charm?
You can assist her with your own status if you want. What do you have in your status?
I thought you had a
oh.
high one.
Yeah, I have 4.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you can give Gertrude +2.
Can I assist with my status and make it lower?
You would be bad for this.
Yeah, that's why I'm hiding.
Does that happen? Can you lower statuses?
Yes. Yes.
I'm a 1.
Yeah.
Oh,
So like in the
no.
eyes of the police, Gertrude is this beautiful woman who obviously comes from good stock, and Mr. Fluffles just kind of cements that fact in. Both of you look very the picturesque of a gentle man and a gentle woman.
Okay. So I rolled all 8, and I got 1 4 and 3 3s.
So I rolled a 3 on the Sherlock dice, so all your 3s counts as successes.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Um,
So that's 4.
Excellent. So the police officer, this burly man with a large mustache, says, "Oh, hi, yes, the Selden, the Notting Hill murderer. That's who we're looking for right now. He escaped from prison not too long ago."
Interesting.
I'm gonna show the picture. Does he look like this?
No, he doesn't.
And how far is Nottingham from here?
Notting Hill, several miles away from here, but nonetheless, we've heard some particular inquiries concerning this escapee in this area. I don't know what accent
I'm
is
sure
that,
we'll be-
but I'm sticking with it.
Would you happen to know which way is Mr. Henry's? Did we ever get his last name?
Baskerville.
Baskerville. Of course. Yeah, it's Henry Baskerville's estate from here.
Of course, and he'll point to a direction. And as he does, a gentleman wearing a very well-tailored suit approaches you three. Evening, my name is Jenkins. I'm here to help you load up your baggage and get you all squared away. I believe Sir Henry is here as well, and he kind of looks down, and kind of in the high class area of the train, you see Sir Henry Baskerville come out along with Dr. Mortimer as you guys all meet up again. So he helps you guys load up your luggage and such into the vehicle as you guys make your way to Baskerville Hall. Halfway.
Can I add?
Huh?
Well, I just want to add for the people watching that visually, when the guy turns around and looks at Oliver to get his bag, Oliver just kind of hands him his hand and opens it and it's empty. That's it, bro.
It's like.
Sorry.
So while on the way to Baskerville, the carriage driver slows and pulls alongside a man and woman. "Pardon me, sir. Thought you'd like to meet your neighbors. This here is Mr. Stapleton and his sister, Miss Stapleton. Henry Baskerville will jump out of the wagon to introduce himself. He also looks towards you guys and says, well, this is Miss Gertrude, Mr. Fluffles, and Mr. Oliver. The gentleman is carrying a butterfly net. The gentleman says, out catching rare species, you see. One must be careful out there, though. This is the great Grimkin Mire. A false step yonder means death to man or beast. Only yesterday I saw one of the more ponies wander into it. He never came out. I saw his head for quite a long time craning out of the bog hole, but it sulked him down at last. It is a danger to cross it, even in dry seasons, but after these autumn rains it is an awful place. And yet I can find my way to the very heart of it and return alive. In fact, I see a rare species right now. I'll be back. With that, Mr. Stapleton kind of darts off, leaving...
Oh my god, his wife is unattended.
Yeah, leaving his wife to look at you guys unattended. Forgive me.
Mrs. Stapleton, you are looking quite marvelous today.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Fluffles?
Mr. Fluffles.
I see. In any case, forgive me if I'm being forward, Mr. Baskerville, but aren't you concerned about the hound? I mean, I would never want to move somewhere that is haunted as such. You do much better taking your inheritance and leaving. Henry responds, no, it's not something I believe in. I think it's rot, but honestly, that's what these three are here. Hopefully we can get to the bottom of this mystery.
What do you know about the tale of the hound, Mrs. Stapleton?
Why, yes, it's been in the Moor history for some time. It's dreadful to go out at night, and I prefer to keep to the safety of the candlelight and the estates and the parlors and such.
Have you seen the hound for yourself, or know anybody that has?
Now, I met with an individual who was smoking a cigar a couple weeks back who did indeed say he saw some spectral form of some creature with four paws roaming about the moor late at night. He was too terrified to go any closer, but I tell you, though I can't recall the telling of it myself, during that time it scared me to the core, and I had quite a difficulty sleeping that night.
And this man with the cigar, was he from town or from outside town? Or
He was from town, yes. Another one of the families who lives nearby.
Do you happen to recall his name?
No, I do not, good sir. It happened some time ago, and to be honest, he and I don't engage in conversation much.
Oh.
Mr. Baskerville then says, I appreciate the concern, Miss Stapleton, but I'll be all right. These friends of mine are with me. And if I didn't clarify it before, Beryl and Jack Stapleton are siblings.
Oh.
I thought they were a couple.
It kind of looks that way, but none of them have rings on.
Oh, they could be kissing cousins.
In that case.
Mr. Fluffles is like...
Can I do like some charm on her then, recognizing that she's single?
Yeah, of course.
I would love some companionship.
Are you just that forward?
Yes, I would love your companionship, and perhaps you could show me around the area. You must know all the great swimming holes and different things like that.
All right, go ahead and roll.
Bertram's just making up her face again because it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot like, woo!
All right, so 3. If I get a 6 twice in a row, do I keep rolling it?
Correct, yeah.
I'm proficient. All right, so that is 5 successes.
Ooh, and you got the Sherlock Holmes die, so you can choose any of the other numbers to be a success as well.
All right, so let's just do 6 successes.
All right. So she looks extremely smitten with you as she blushes. And Henry, kind of seeing this, says, "Now let's keep things civil here, Miss Stapleton. If and by this time Jack Stapleton comes bounding back. He got away from me. Oh well, next time." And then Henry continues, "Actually, if you and your sister would like to join us this evening for dinner," and Miss Stapleton kind of looks at Mr. Fluffles with almost this girlish grin. Plans? Mr. Stapleton thinks for a moment. We don't have any plans. Of course we'll come. And Henry says, "Very good. Let's say 6 p.m." And the vehicle continues on, leaving these two to their merry way. Arriving at the Baskerville Hall is this large estate with a beautiful tree line right in front of it. A servant with a black, bushy beard comes out of the house to meet the carriage. He says, "Greetings, my name is Mr. Barrymore," and then begins taking your luggage inside. And then sees, kind of after he's done, he inquires if you guys need anything else.
Iced tea and a shot of brandy.
Of course. Miss Gertrude?
Brandy, yes. That one.
Of course. I'll have it in the parlor. Later tonight, Mrs. Barrymore will be preparing the dinner. I'll make sure that everything is taken care of. And then he heads out to provide you guys your teas and brandies. As you guys continue along in the estate, you meet another older woman with black hair, a rather sullen woman. She just kind of doesn't look up, doesn't greet you at all, but just kind of continues moving on, dusting the side and slowly heading towards the kitchen. If you want, you can make a perception roll.
Don't have none.
I can do it.
Go ahead.
I'll assist. Actually, no, I can't because it's not a specialty.
It doesn't have to be a specialty. It's just you have to have at least 3 dice.
Oh, I have 3, so I
right.
give you +1.
Correct, yeah.
Because I need it. All right, that's 2 successes.
Oh, all right. You can't really gain any sense of what this woman's about, but there's a certain illness to her regard of everything.
That wouldn't have been an observation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought that's what, because I have observation.
Ooh,
Like
you can
what?
roll it as well.
Like a butt ton of observation and specialty in people specifically.
Ooh, go ahead and roll then.
Can I assist him?
No, we'll say because you guys already rolled.
I get 5 die anyways, so. Although they're going to be all bad.
Oh no.
I am shitting you not right now. I'm going to get a dice thing. Oh, fuck you. Is that Mortimer?
That's
Yep.
Moriarty, yeah.
Moriarty, I mean, yeah. So what does that mean?
That means for every non-success, it takes away from your successes.
Okay, that's still cool because I rolled 2 6s, 2 4s, and then a 2.
Ooh,
So,
all right. So total.
Take away one of the 4. So right now 3. Okay, 4. So 4 total.
All right. Something does appear to be bothering the woman. Something probably personal and severe, but that's all you get from it.
I'd be like, Mr. Fluffles, something's wrong with her. I don't know what it is. You want to go handle that?
Oh, definitely. Thank you for the insight on that.
It could be dude issues, so it might not help, but we'll find out.
I'm
Just
going
gonna sit in
to
my chair.
I'm going to walk up to this elderly woman and run my finger across her shoulders and say, "Hello, beautiful woman."
She like
Or-
immediately recoils and looks at you. Don't you dare touch me, young man. It's very inappropriate.
Oh, but we are both in the blossom of our youth.
No, we are not. I am a good Christian woman.
Whoop.
Well, I am also a very good Christian man, and this is my son. His mother died long ago. I'm gonna
Well,
grab.
that's sad to
Oh.
hear, but it has nothing to do with me.
Does she have a ring on her finger?
She does.
I feel like I wouldn't. I'm not like obvious about it. I just kind of go, oh, that's a nice ring, and I look at you like you're stupid.
I'm not in the same room. I'm in the other room.
Gertrude's just like, no.
You
Not
just
even
look like
here.
something is bothering you, and I would love to cheer up your day.
Well, why don't you go mind your own business and you just let me do the cooking and you're gonna eat my food and how about that be
Oh.
our relationship?
Mrs. Barrymore, I have heard all about you.
No, you have not. You just got here.
Well, I know your name, don't I?
That is not nearly anything.
I have heard that you are going to prepare the finest feast this evening, and I cannot look any more forward to it.
Of course.
I hope so.
She just kind of stares at you, and slowly starts walking away towards the kitchen.
Do you need any help cooking?
No, not from you.
Okay. All right, bag of bones, and I start walking away.
So yeah, you guys are able to relax for a couple of hours before dinner. Later that night, the Stapletons will arrive, and you guys can kind of hang out for a little bit before, like, the dining room is being set up with food being put out just before for dinner. The Baskerville Hall is a rather dark old house. Mr. Barrymore has lit candles to provide more light. While Mr. Stapleton and his sister arrive, you guys are heading to the dining hall. As you sit, the smell of Mrs. Barrymore's cooking has you anxiously waiting dinner. Though some of you are probably a little bit more anxious since you kind of like talk to her in a weird way. So who knows what your food will be like.
Question. So there's a gap between then and when we're sitting down to eat, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's several hours.
So could I have, because I would have wanted to be sneaky around the house, and especially like around her, could I have snuck around and gathered any information?
So looking around, other than kind of this place being this old house filled with valuables and art antiques and such like that, there's nothing really incriminating to be found. No doubt the study is locked, with Mr. Baskerville most likely behind the other door. Mrs. Barrymore is busy the entire time preparing dinner, and if you do kind of peek in, she almost has this uncanny way to sigh and then look around as if someone was annoying her.
And this is the guy's house, right? That was losing the shoes in the hotel.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Are his shoes accessible in this house?
If you sneak into his bedroom, yeah.
Okay. I want to take one of his shoes and put it in Mr. Fluffle's stuff.
All right, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Okay, that'd
First
be.
stealth check, guys. Woo!
Would that be considered like the criminal artistry pickpocketing?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to help Mr. Fluffle?
I would totally help you steal a shoe. I'm just saying. Like, I consent to this. Can I assist you?
Yeah.
You just don't know I'm going to be sticking it in your stuff.
I mean, I'm gonna take it to investigate it anyway. Probably smell it.
Ugh. Ooh, that was terrible. All right, what'd you roll?
Well, I only give you an extra die.
Yeah.
No. What did he roll? What
Oh,
did
I
Mitch roll?
rolled the Watson, so you get 1 success from me.
Okay, good. That's 3.
All right, yeah, you're able to take a this nice like leather white shoe from Mr. Baskerville's collection and place it within Mr. Fluffle's room.
I'd give him some time to like investigate it, whatever he'd want to do, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go, put it back, and then I'd sneak into his room and put it in his room.
Can I look and see if there's any like teeth mark or hair or anything like that on it?
So I am going to raise the threat meter by 1. As you look upon this this shoe, yeah, it's other than kind of this bad smell from like it's you're in a swamp and people move around in these shoes and it's just hot and it's just a regular shoe. But yeah.
So while he's doing that, I'm gonna sneak down into the kitchen and try and snag a cookie if there is one anywhere on the counter.
All right, go ahead and roll stealth.
And
You
where do
guys
I
are all
look?
just like taking stuff.
Oh no, I don't have any stuff.
Like, I don't even have stealth. Oh yeah, I do.
Pickpocketing or
Hide.
something.
Wait, could I use acting as a?
You could distract her with your acting as you come in order to grab a cookie.
Of course, I'm a stage presence. I just walk into the room and I'd be like, Mrs. Barrymore, just the woman I wanted to speak with, and I'm just gonna like turn.
All right, go
Aside.
ahead and roll.
She's gonna be like,
I
"Don't
heard
touch me."
so much about you and dinner tonight.
Why
I
does
also
everyone
wanted
say
to
that?
ask you about Mr. Jenkins while we're here. Oh yay! Okay,
And
So-
2 are counted as successes.
okay. So for my acting, I have 3, but I also have a proficiency in it. Does that add a die, or is that just
If it's your profession skill, then that means if it's a 6, you roll again.
okay? Well, I just went ahead and rolled a normal 3, and they're all 6s.
Oh, so that means you roll 3 additional dice if that's
3
your
additional?
profession skill.
Okay. And second half, I got a 4 and a 6, so 4 6s and 1 4.
All right, so that other 6 you get to roll again.
Hey,
Yeah, you just keep going until it's not.
this is Barrymore. I just love what you've done with the place. It smells wonderful in here. You do impeccable organization of all your tools. And let's see, that's a 5. That
Excellent.
is it.
Yeah, how many successes?
So 4 6s, 1 4, and 1 5.
Yeah, she is enamored with your kind of oratory performance. She even like awkwardly gets a stool right in front of you, and at one point just kind of puts kind of gives you a coin as if thank you for your troubles.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. You know, it would be wonderful as if I could have one of those cookies I've actually come in for.
Yeah,
And
of
I
course.
just
Come
get
on,
it
grab as
along
much as you
right.
want.
So I've taken 2. I just take another one so she sees there's 1.
Yeah.
And
She'll go back to cooking as you leave with your ill-gotten cookies.
I'm still admiring like all of her cooking tools and just walk out munching on it.
Awesome. So for the threat level danger, that means that 1s no longer work on the Sherlock die.
Dang it. All right.
So,
Nice going, Oliver.
around you, you notice many interesting paintings that look as if they were all by the same painter. These morbid, almost Maya-looking traditionalist paintings. Mr. Barrymore explains that Sir Charles was a painter, and amongst the numerous paintings in Baskerville Hall are many portraits and landscapes that Sir Charles painted himself. Stapleton seems like a bookish sort of scientific type. He, as the conversation goes on, claims to be an entomologist.
What is
So we are once
entomologist?
again in like an investigative scene. So first off, the observation roll. And Oliver, I believe you have like the highest observation.
I have 3, but I'm proficient.
I'll give you
Alright.
one.
All right. So that's 4, and of course, remember to use your resolve points if you want.
You have to say beforehand, or
Correct. Yeah, say beforehand.
all right. So yeah, I might as well. I'll use half of them, so I use 2
All right.
because I'm interested in the paintings, and also have a feeling it's gonna be terrible.
Are we investigating the paintings or the entomologist?
You're generally watching things as the conversation's unfolding before you.
Okay. All right. So what'd you roll? Did you screw me up or?
I got the Moriarty.
Yeah. So any failures? Okay. So then that one I got 1 6, so that's a reroll, which gave me a success. So 4 successes.
4 successes. Let's see what we got here. 2.
Which had I been those 2 dice down, that would have sucked.
All right, so you can get 1 clue. The skin around Miss Stapleton's finger is lighter, as if until recently she wore a ring. So we go into the reasoning. So whoever is highest upon reasoning.
So I have 3, and I think Gertrude has 3.
So we're reasoning about the missing ring.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 too. So I give you 1 if you want to roll for it, or I can roll for it.
Do I have to be proficient to give 1?
No. All you
Oh.
need is an average, which is 3
3.
3
Okay.
dots, yeah.
Then yeah, go for it.
Okay. Okay, so that is 2 6s and what is that? That's a 1. And we've got a 3. Yeah.
All right, and the dice I rolled is a 2, so 2 are successes. So what's your total successes?
3 successes.
All right, unfortunately, you are not able to reason whether or not this is important. But nonetheless, we move on to the deduction round. And the 3 leads underneath this clue are A, she is secretly married, B, she is recently divorced, or C, she is separated. So whoever has the deduction can do that.
That's Gertrude, I think, right?
Yeah, I have 3 if anyone has the.
Yeah, we don't have either.
Can I gift
Either
her one of my pointy things?
resolve.
So if you can assist, because you can give 1 point, right? Or
Mhm.
1
I don't
die.
have anything.
I do have a resolve. I could use it for this round.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can only use resolve if you are already helping.
Oh.
But now that's for them. Gertrude, since it's your role, you can use as many resolve points as you want to increase your dice pool. And this will be a difficult task since there's only 1 clue. You're going to need 4 successes.
Okay. Nope, just 3 successes.
So I actually got the Watson, which brings you up to 4. So you get to uncover one of the leads. So A, she is secretly married. B, she is recently divorced. Or C, she is separated. Which would you like to unveil?
She's a good Christian woman, so she's definitely not going to be divorced.
No, this is Stapleton.
Yeah, this
Stapleton,
is Stapleton.
the lady you booed
Oh.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the one that's smitten with Mr. Fluffles, the
I'll totally just find out the truth of it tonight.
think
the
everybody so
sister
far
of
probably
Mr. Stapleton.
I guess so. Let's try. Is she secretly married?
All right. Behind door number 1, it is
Oh boy.
true. As you watch, you and this is kind of as you guys are looking around, you notice, the odd discoloration of her finger. You notice the way she responds and the way kind of like watching how the body mimics other people. You can usually figure out the type of relationship they have with someone, and it does look that they have an intimate relationship, though it's hard to tell if it's good or bad. There's kind of this ominous air to it.
That's between her and Henry?
Between her and Mr. Stapleton.
Oh no.
What? She's married to her brother?
Okay, to be fair, in the 1800s, to keep your estate, if there was no one else and you had to keep the money in the family, that sometimes happens.
So the topic of conversation has shifted to the Hound, and even the Barrymores are kind of like, yeah, we've seen the Hound too, and it's the reason why we don't venture away from this domicile late at night. If you guys want, you can ask 4 questions before we proceed.
Go on,
I've got a
Oliver.
question.
All right, what is it?
I don't believe in ghosts. So if there are dogs in the moor, who around here raises dogs?
So, talking with everyone, you know that there are a couple of families. So this is out in the country. So most families have dogs for hunting. So it's not uncommon for a house, especially one like this, to have a group of dogs that are taken care of.
And are there dogs at this house?
Correct, yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Question 2.
Is Mrs. Barrymore there? Still serving our food and everything?
Yeah, she's there. She's available.
Mrs. Barrymore, could you tell us more about Sir Charles and what he was like when he was here?
Yeah, Sir Charles, well-to-do older gentleman, kept to himself in his paintings, though often he would visit upon Dr. Mortimer and some of his other friends in the area. He was he could be very social when he wanted to be. But other than that, he had a legacy here at the house, one of being a gentleman. Always first and through. Very unlike the other 2 that you occupy your time with.
I'm a kid.
Well, Oliver will grow on you, and so will Mr. Fluffles.
Well, hopefully, y'all won't be here long enough for that to occur.
Neither were you.
And the threat level goes up.
Ew.
About to throw down was Mrs. Barrymore.
He's gonna spank you.
Any other questions?
So someone was like an endomethacin or some type of-
Entomologist.
Entomologist, yeah.
That's a study of insects.
Are there any? I'd like to talk to them and just find out like what insects are in the area. Are there any insects that have like toxins or anything?
So it's Mr. Stapleton, and he says, yeah, sure, there's lots of insects and stuff like that of many variety here in the moor. That's kind of why I've come down here. You'll find such interesting and fascinating sights down by the swamp. And he'll start like listing different types and just kind
Anything
of
that
rattle
would give us a similar reaction to like being frozen in fear or
None that he says, no. The most poisonous one that he kind of talks about would kind of give you a rash and maybe an ill cough.
Can I escalate the conversation and be like, oh, certainly there has to be something more dangerous around, like something that would leave you paralyzed in fear almost.
Well, so he does talk about a couple of insects that he has seen about undoubtedly have migrated down or up from the south. These things could potentially be harvested and used for such nefarious deeds, if that's what you're presuming.
Interesting.
And with that, soon after, everyone starts to leave and return to their chambers. People smoke, they drink, and you guys eventually head to bed.
Do I get to take Mrs. Stapleton with me?
No, she does not, despite any... She seems very much interested in you, but because of societal norms, she will not...
Can I walk her to her carriage or something?
You can,
And
yeah.
I'd like to just confront her about the ring and ask her, are you single, Mrs. Stapleton? Because my heart yearns for you.
Well, yes, I am, but you must have. I was divorced some time ago. It was an awful tragic thing. I'd rather not talk about it. Really, if you care about Henry Baskerville at all, you would encourage him to just take his wealth and leave. There's no reason he should stay here and put himself in any danger.
Well, what would happen to the estate if he were to leave?
I mean, he could sell it off, give it to someone else, let it be. I mean, he was in Canada before this time around, so might as well just return back to where he came from.
That seems such a waste for such a beautiful place to start a wink wink family.
Well, I agree, but sometimes you have to think about the safety of a thing, and with that hound ever present and ever haunting the Baskerville family, it's just not worth it.
Why does everyone just assume that it's a single hound and not multiple hounds?
Because if you heard the stories that we've heard, I mean, it's a legend around these parts. A large beast of such a nature that would sprite right from hell itself. It gives me the shivers just talking about it, and I'd rather not at this late at night, and not with the carriage drive I have before me.
Oh dear. Very well. Well, it was such a pleasure to see you this evening. I can't tell you how you've lightened my day.
Mr. Fluffles, you have made my heart skip several times tonight, and if it would do so again another time, I would very much welcome the opportunity for it to occur. Let's not have this be the last time we meet.
Of course. Never.
And she kind of bows and gets in the carriage along with her brother, who's kind of looking at you like as he closes the door.
Woo!
You hear like Gertrude from the second story window. Whoop whoop. All right, so who has the highest observation?
It's me, basically.
All right, Oliver. Why don't you go ahead and make a test? Just you.
Okay, so yes. Oh, that's terrible. I got 1-6, so I get to try again. That's not too bad. All right, what'd you get?
Watson, so you get an additional success.
4.
Awesome.
Barely.
That is, yep. So you waken up to see a strange light outside your window. Someone is moving through the moors with a lantern or a candle. The light is cut off several times and then disappears completely.
Does it, like, are they going towards or away from the house?
It doesn't look like they're doing either. It looks like it's almost signaling.
Okay, that would have been my second thing. Did it seem like it was an not SOS, but like some sort of signal? From my professional crime background, would I know any well-known light signals?
You would, but this doesn't seem to be sophisticated.
Okay. All right, and I don't see any other lights in other directions or other places.
So actually, as you look, you kind of right below your window, you notice a figure leaving the domicile and carrying a candle out towards the moor.
Who does it look like?
It's hard to tell from here.
I open the window. Hey!
The candle is blown out, and you see nothing else outside.
I said, hey! I'll run downstairs before they get inside.
All right. I guess Mr. Fluffles and Gertrude wake up to like this. Hey.
Yeah, I'm banging on their doors as I go, and I'm like, get up! Someone's dying!
Needing a beauty sleep.
Are all the bedrooms
Work under
upstairs?
these conditions.
Yeah, all the bedrooms are upstairs.
All right, I want to hide at the top of the stairs to see who comes up.
I'm going down the stairs. Like, I'm running down the stairs.
Yeah. So you see Oliver and I guess Gertrude. Are you coming downstairs as well?
Taking my time and putting on my special robe.
you get settled.
Getting perfume on, put some earrings in, and then I'm gonna go down.
Heading outside, you guys don't immediately see anything.
So when we come out, are we in the direction the light was flickering?
Yeah.
Or okay. And there's no one standing around.
No, but you start to hear leaves crackling. Something's coming.
Like coming towards us?
Correct.
You didn't come down, right, Fluffs?
Nope.
Okay.
Fluff's like Spider-Man up on the stairwell.
So I'd like to pick up something that looks to be something I can defend myself with, and I say, show yourself! I see you!
Hello. You hear John Barrymore calling out from the dark. Is that you, Sir Oliver?
Maybe.
All right.
What the hell are you doing out here?
Just taking a midnight stroll. Is that okay with you, Mr. Oliver?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go back to bed then.
All right.
I'm gonna talk to John.
So Gertrude and John Barrymore start heading back. What do you say?
So, John, as I understand it, these moors are quite dangerous. How far in did you walk?
Not too far. I'd like to keep the hall within sight.
Do you have a candle, by the way?
Yes. And he takes out a candle. But we're close enough to the house. I don't think we'll need it.
Oh, good, because I really have no idea what's on with Olive all of a sudden. Pray tell, when is breakfast tomorrow? Is that
7 a.m.
nice, roughly?
Yeah, 7 a.m. It will be served.
Okay.
And as you guys are talking, you hear a howl in the distance. And John looks panicked as he just runs back towards the house.
I close and lock the door.
Is anybody else stirring in the upstairs where all the bedrooms are?
Yeah, it does sound like Henry Baskerville. He's kind of looking out from his master bedroom to see what's going on.
But like the doctor, Mr. Jenkins, none of those.
The doctor went back to his own home. Jenkins, one of the butlers, is not seen.
Okay, so it's just Mr. and Mrs. Barrymore, and Henry Baskerville, and then us at the house.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I'm not kidding, by the way. I closed and locked the door.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gertrude hasn't just yet. She hasn't tried the door. She's just
Did he run up to the door?
Tries to open it. Like, hello? Why is this door locked?
Stop telling me fibs. What were you doing out there, weirdo? I saw the lights out in the woods.
I'm
I
just
won't
going
let you-
to another door.
Okay, well, and I'll run over to that door and lock it. I'm quicker than you. I'm a kid.
I know more doors.
Yeah, that's
Is there
true.
a window that's open still?
There's not an open window.
Wait, we just heard a hound, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So hearing the hound, I'm gonna race down the stairs and try to go outside.
All right, you can
Run over all of
open up the front door. What do you do?
I want to go towards where the sound came from.
All right, how about Oliver and Gertrude? What are you guys doing? As you see Mr. Fluffles head out into the dark by himself.
Here,
I-
puppy, puppy, puppy.
I
The
yanked
door
the-
worked for him. It swings the other way. Crawl out of the bushes and climb back into the house.
Yeah, and I want to snatch the candle from Homeboy and light it and run out there with it.
All right, Gertrude, are you staying with John?
Yep, just to make sure he doesn't go anywhere.
All right, Mr. Fluffles and Oliver head out into the distance, into the moor. As you move on, you notice a crumbled old cottage on the moors in the valley of a couple of small hills. You can
And-
go forward.
The cottage is where the dog was howling.
It sounds like it came from this area. It's kind of hard to tell, though.
Okay. Are there any lights on in the cottage or anything?
There are not. It's this old crumbling cottage. Doesn't look like anyone lives in there.
Okay. I'm gonna motion at it with my walking stick and be like, "Shh, Oliver, let's go over there and check out this cottage."
I'm just saying, if there's a witch in there that wants to feed me, I'm going home.
Deal.
Middle of the dark with no one around.
I'm sure it's fine.
I'll hold your hand, Oliver.
I'm not afraid.
As you move forward, you hear a crack as a rifle shot echoes in the night. Mr. Fluffles, why don't you roll dodge for me?
I'm afraid.
All right, that's something I'm good at.
Watching Matrix.
Yeah, I'm glad I stayed
All right,
behind.
I've got 2 successes so far.
Alright.
3, 4, and one more 6. 4 successes.
Awesome. So the moment the sound comes out, you like drop down in one of the rocks nearby you. You hear a chunk of the rock just kind of splinter off as the bullet ricochets off of it.
These are old time guns that take a while to reload, right?
It depends. A well-practiced person could probably reload in a couple of seconds. Probably.
It's
about
not like a
15.
musket where they gotta restuff it.
Yeah. So what do you guys do?
I want to run at where the gunshot came from.
Oh, fuck that. I'm running to the cottage.
I've
Back
got my
to-
stick like held up in the air like I'm about to knock somebody out.
So Oliver, are you heading back to the hall?
No, that cottage.
You're heading towards that cottage because the rifle fire sounded like it came from there.
Oh, like it came from there.
Yeah.
Well,
Perfect.
then I want to run towards like cover then.
Yeah,
All right.
that's the cottage.
All right, Oliver, give me a dodge roll.
Yay! I'm proficient, and I got a lot of points in that. Well, not that great though.
Can I contribute to him getting shot?
You can like hold him up as your body armor.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 2 on my dice.
Okay. Whew. Okay, I got 3 then.
All right.
That's a poo
So
roll.
he clips you for 3 damage.
I'm a kid. I'm actually probably dead. Hold on. Oh no, I'm grazed.
Yeah. All right, but you guys get a little bit closer. We'll say, Mr. Fluffles, you have to make the next dodge check.
Okay, I'm gonna like motion for Oliver to go around the building
Mm-hmm.
because he'll have to fire in. I'm just assuming it's a he. He'll have to fire in 2 directions.
All right.
And I'm going to. Can I like hide as I'm walking to kind of like sneak?
It's kind of hard to because there's a lot of open space in this area. Your best bet is pretty much just running from kind of rock to rock and into hill, kind of obscuring your movement.
Zigzag.
Serpentine! Serpentine!
You're doing great, guys. You're doing great.
Let's keep doing it.
All right, go ahead.
Three successes.
All right, and I got the Sherlock dice.
Oh, so 4 successes.
All right, you narrowly miss a bullet. Well, you narrowly dodge a bullet. You don't want to miss it. As it clips the ground. As you come up, as you guys both kind of go through the crumbled cottage, you see a man carrying a rifle, and he aims it at you guys. Oliver, what do you do?
I throw a rock at his face.
All right, go ahead and roll.
That is the kid's reaction. That's perfect.
I have 4 rocks in my
It's
pockets.
like Lord of the Flies.
I want to assist with criminal artistry.
Criminal artistry.
Yeah, I want to point at him and be like, hit him in the head.
All right. You can. How much dice would you add?
1.
Just 1.
All right.
I'm assuming this would be fight.
Mhm.
That's what I thought. All right. Oh, look at those poo rolls. What you get?
He doesn't roll. Remember, he aids you, so he gives you +1.
No,
dice.
you. Don't
Oh,
you
what
have
did
to
I
roll?
get? You got. I got a Watson, so 1 more success.
Okay, I got 2 then.
All right, you throw it, but it kind of hits the side of the wall. The gentleman aims his rifle right at Oliver. Mr. Fluffles, you have enough time. What will you do?
I'm gonna use.
Hit on him.
Yeah, So criminal artistry. Can I use that to like knock the gun out of his hands?
Hmm.
Or can I use defense? Like
Can't use
self-defense?
the defense. I'll say yeah. You can use criminal artistry. More so, kind of like dismantling the gun.
All right, and I'm gonna use 2 of those points, so it gives me a total of 5 dice.
Nice.
Oh. So that gives me a total of 3 successes.
All right. And I rolled the Sherlock Holmes die, so you get to choose.
So 5 successes.
Excellent. So yeah, you kind of go up and you quickly dismantle the gun like John Wick style. However, that could be done in the Victorian era. I don't know, but it's pretty cool to watch.
Who is it?
It's no one you've seen before. When you kind of when you do this, you hear this ghostly scream and then nothing. No sound for seems like an eternity. Suddenly frightful, you hear the howl of a hound breaking the stillness of the night, a sound that drifts across the moor. Kind of looking through the openings of the crumbling cottage, you try to get a better look, but as you do, you see this hound glowing almost, and bounding off with tremendous speed and strength until it's out of sight.
So I have the gun in my possession now, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna point it at the dude and be like, "You're coming with us."
And I kick him in the nuts.
He's like, oh god. All right.
Shot me, fucker.
We're taking him back for Gertrude to torture.
But she's an opera singer.
I can act like I
Exactly.
can torture someone.
Yeah.
He is going to hold an A note in his ear for 10 minutes.
Yep. Command the presence.
So when you guys return and get Gertrude along, we're going to move into the investigation scene again. So whoever wants to roll in the investigation, perception or otherwise, go ahead and do so.
That's the observation one.
Yeah.
Can-
Observation round.
Can we use other skills for these types of things, like criminal artistry?
Yeah, it depends.
Because like he was
Yes,
shooting at us, that seems pretty criminal.
All right. So
But someone has to take the lead, so you have to decide before kind of people move forward.
yeah.
Okay,
So
we're roll for perception. So this starts with observation, right?
So who's taking the main lead of role for this?
I can do criminal artistry with proficiency.
yeah, I'm proficient in it as well.
So
So
I
can
have nothing.
assist. I can assist, but I can only give you one.
okay, I've got 2 or more of those things, so that would give me 6.
All right, nice. Go ahead and roll.
Oh geez.
Mhm.
I got 6 successes and 3 sixes.
All right, continue
And-
rolling.
He's making out with this dude. That's what's happening.
And I rolled the Sherlock Holmes die, so you get to choose one of the numbers as success.
Oh my god. So literally that's 9. 9 successes.
Woo! All right, so you get all of the clues. Clue 1 is this man is wearing nice country squire clothing that clearly doesn't fit him. Clue 2, a can of paint, when opened, it has a phosphorus glow. You kind of saw this, probably brought it along in the cabin. Yeah, that area. Clue 3, a fake black beard he has also that was a few feet away from him. The next clue is also a bucket filled with water. The clue after that is, why did the hound attack this man and no one else? Kind of it looked like the hound was coming after him, but after seeing you guys, races off. And then the final clue is inside the jacket pocket of this gentleman is a letter that reads, "Please, please, as you are a gentleman, burn this letter and be at the gate by 10 o'clock. Beneath it are signed the initials L." So you can do, this is the reasoning to figure out which ones are false or true. The clues.
I think that's Gertrude's thing.
Go, Gertrude, go.
Okay, so I already pre-rolled that.
All right.
So I had 2 6s and 1 1. And
Oh wait,
can
I can help you with it. I think because I
Okay.
just realized I also have reason. So you have one more.
Aha! All right, so we can roll another one, and that's a 4.
All right.
So that makes 3 successes.
All right, and I got the Watson, so 4 successes. So you get to you get to unveil 4 for the clues to see if it's a false or true one.
There's only 5, right?
There is
There-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
Oh, 6.
Yep. So deep.
The letter is really important.
So the phosphorus paint, like phosphorus means it
Yeah.
glows, right?
Mhm.
We don't need to ask if that's true or not because I mean, it's obvious.
But I
Click
think
I
it's,
sh-
did he find it or did he?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So the letter yes.
I think the paint is a good one. Just
All right,
because
so
it's
want to do the letter first?
Yep. Let's do the letter first.
All right. The letter is false.
Okay.
Thinking over, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with the case.
Mhm.
Okay.
So your second one,
The paint.
the paint does indeed seem important to the case. And your third one,
Then the dog. Like, why didn't it attack him? Or why did it look like it was attacking him?
Yeah.
all right, this
Okay.
is important to the case. And your final one,
What were the again?
this man is wearing nice country square clothing that clearly doesn't fit him. A can of paint, when open, it has a phosphorus glow. A fake black beard a few feet away. A bucket filled with water. And then the hound, and then the letter.
Ooh, the clothes would be interesting. Maybe he's wearing somebody else's for a scent.
Well, I think the clothes are probably a red herring. Like he has
The
a
beard.
the beard might be a thing, but
Yeah, it relates to something we've already found.
All right, so want to check?
mm,
What do you think?
well, okay.
I vote beard.
Yeah, beard sounds good.
Okay. So we'll go with the beard.
All right, it is a false lead.
Dang it.
Oh,
It is not
I was
connected.
hoping it was the bucket of water that was the false lead too.
Yeah, that's,
All right.
that's the thing. Imagine if that was the like, oh, now you know.
So
Dang it.
now the deduction to try to cross out some of the leads within the clues.
We
Who's
didn't
the-
see anything with glowing. We just saw
The hound was glowing. Right?
the
Yeah.
hound was glowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hound was glowing. Oh, okay. So we have to roll for the
Yep,
deduction,
deduction.
right?
Mhm.
I have 3. Does anyone want to?
Yeah. Neither of us have any of that. It's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
unless I can
Gertrude.
use like.
It's all me. Carry in the team. There we go.
All- I mean, unless we can use anything else, because I would think that me having specialties in people.
Not
Might be
with
more of
these
a conversation,
clues.
though, but
You could. I'll let one person give observation to kind of assist with the deduction.
Okay, so to just give her +1.
Yeah.
okay. So I get a +1 with that.
Do you have any more of the discretionary points?
Resolve.
This I got 1 resolve left,
Well, you had 4 because we started with 3 plus the 1.
and I helped with the one of them. I thought.
I think you only used 1.
Oh, okay. So I have 3 left then.
All right.
If I use it for this one, would that be down to 2 after that, or?
Yeah, you can use as many as you want. I think
Yeah.
if you have 3, you can use 3.
Mhm.
Oh, well, I mean, I only have tallied just 1 that I got from that last thing, but
No, he said we start with 3 in the very beginning, right?
Yeah. You started with 3.
okay. So I have 4. I'll just go ahead and roll the 4 then.
All right.
Is that last one? Cool. So I have 2 5s and 1 4 and a 2.
All right. The 2 is a success because of the die that I rolled. So how many
Cool.
total successes?
4.
All right. Let's see. All right. You get to cross out 5.
Whoa.
Not 5. What?
So that's only 1 if we did the 2 that we got. There were truths, right?
Yeah. So which one did you want to start on? And I can list off the leads.
So the only one that was true was the glowing paint. So
All right, so lead A, the paint belongs to this man. Lead B, the paint belongs to a woman. Or lead C, this paint belongs to another man.
does it belong to this man?
False, it does not. So that's one of your 5.
It has to be a woman.
Yeah, it's your girlfriend, bro.
It probably is.
Because I mean, think about it. She
Girlfriend.
was telling you, well, you know, he should just leave. What's she trying to do? She's trying to run him off. I bet you it's her.
Yeah.
Plus, she also lied about her marriage being a divorce.
Yeah,
and
she's
it's
a liar.
secret marriage. So,
All right, what's your next cross out?
let
Let me know if you want me to go to another clue.
Do we still want to try and clear out the paint?
Yeah. See if it's a woman. If it
Yeah,
belongs
Was
to a
it-
woman.
If you, sorry.
All right, false. So the truth is, the paint belongs to another man.
Whoa.
Kind of, you look on the handle, and kind of the weight of it suggests that a man must have done it, at least to your sensibilities.
Wait a second. Is John still there?
John Stapleton?
Yes, because he came in the
Oh,
house
you
with
mean
me
John
while those two
Barrymore?
were out.
John Barrymore is in the house. Yes.
Okay.
All right, so you are 2 down. What other clue should we inquire about?
Okay, so we've got the fake beard.
Well, we know the fake beard is a red herring.
Yeah,
Yep.
So
and
the
we-
other truth was the dog didn't attack him or
correct.
was
Yeah.
coming at him.
Yeah.
So either he owned the dog or someone else
So-
did and painted it.
Yeah, for that one, lead A is it turned on its master for inflicting cruelty on it. B, the man was the nearest and therefore the easiest target. Or C, this hand was convinced this man was Sir Charles Baskerville.
What does Sir Charles Baskerville look like?
He is a young gentleman with dirty blonde hair.
No
I
beard.
think it's probably his clothes. That's
Yeah,
why I
that's-
think that's
That's okay.
All right, so which one you want to unveil?
So we're gonna unveil the clothing thing and not the dog.
so the
Well, I
dog
think-
because it was thinking that it was Mr. Baskerville, Henry Baskerville.
Want to do
Yeah,
that
he's
one?
linking the 2 clues. He's saying that
okay.
the dog thought it was Baskerville. So rule that in or out.
All right.
So whichever number that was for the dog turned on his master.
All right, that is true. The hound was convinced this man was Sir Charles Baskerville. The clothes that this individual was wearing looks like Baskerville's clothes.
Okay.
We don't have to ask anything about the clothes.
Yeah, you guys got 2 left.
All right.
Do we need
Start
to
of
know
this-
anything about the water?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
the water.
All right,
Yeah.
lead A, the water was being used to drink from. B, someone was likely using the bucket to wash off the paint. Or C, the water is being used to watch out stains in the clothes.
What seems more likely?
B.
The paint, washing off the paint.
Washing off the paint?
True. You got 1 left.
So now
And
let's
that
go
was-
to the. Sorry,
That was washing off the paint from the clothes or from the dog?
the hands.
It just says someone was likely using the bucket to wash off the paint.
Oh.
So there's kind of remains in the water of kind of the paint.
Yeah, leftovers. So it could be off clothes. It could be off hands. It could be off the dog. Okay, so the last thing. So we know the dog was attacking dude because of clothes. We know the clothes are Baskervilles. We know that the paint. Oh, we don't know any. Oh, we know the bucket was held by a dude. Wasn't there one about the paint?
The paint was it belongs to another man.
Okay,
That's
that
what
was
you
that
figured
one.
out.
So what's the other thing that we don't have as false or have already figured out?
This man is wearing nice country squire clothing that clearly doesn't fit.
Yeah, that
we
was
know that.
Yeah, but that's
we-
the last one.
Was
so
it the
we
clothes or was it the
because you guys figured out the truth concerning the paint.
Yep.
You figured out that the black beard was a red herring. You
Mhm.
figured out the bucket. You figured out why the hound attacked, and then the letter was also a red herring.
So
Oh,
we can
okay.
just verify the clothing with that last question.
So A, he purchased ill-fitting clothing. B, the clothes were given to him. Or C, he stole the clothes.
Ooh, actually, this is going to be helpful. So do we think he stole it, or do we think they were given to him? I think they were given to him.
I think they were stolen.
But they were given to him and they don't fit.
I mean, they were
Yeah.
given to him by somebody else who isn't the owner. Somebody else stole them and gave them to him.
So it's a 50-50, so rule one of them out.
Okay. Well,
All right, which one?
we're gonna say given.
True. The clothes were indeed given to him.
Huh.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
So
my
when it
giggle.
says given, does that mean by Sir Baskerville?
I mean, think about who left recently.
It's probably the Stapletons.
No, John was outside, or Mr. Barrymore.
Yep, John Barrymore was the one who
but
left.
He was the one signaling him.
Because he had the candle.
Yeah. Find John. Search the house.
What about
So,
this guy? What are we doing
You
with
guys,
him?
you guys each get a resolve point, and you guys can ask 4 questions concerning this thing.
So, mystery person, who hired you?
No one hired me. Just trying to get free.
Free of what?
At this point, Mrs. Barrymore and Mr. Barrymore come down the stairs, with Mrs. Barrymore looking very distraught. She's like, "Look, this is my son Selden. All right, please, forgive him. Just let him go on his way. He just wants to do good and be free. Just
I'm gonna point at Oliver and be like, he shot Oliver.
Yeah, that's
Not
what.
a child.
You see this? You see this?
I am
Ow!
so sorry."
And I kick him in the
And-
nuts again.
The hound was out there too, which means we know that you had a part of it. And now I'm pointing the gun at the son.
Selden kind of puts his hands up. "Look, I have never seen no hound. It's nothing to do with me.
You're wearing Sir Henry Baskerville's clothes.
It's the Mark."
Next to-
And John Barrymore looks up. He's like, "It's the only clothes we had."
He had the fluorescent paint that was obviously on the dog.
Wait, is it on him? Oh wait, but he washed it off.
Selden
We
says,
haven't checked
I
his
didn't. I never saw that paint. It was there when I got there."
Can I observe him to see if he's telling the truth?
Yeah, you can.
You helping?
I'm helping.
You guys helping? I'm gonna use all my resolve. Oh yeah, you can't help. Dang, it's okay. You're helping. You
I'm helping with my presence. I'm gonna sing a hymn in the background.
all right? Not that great. So I got 1 6, which reroll to a 6.
All right, and you got Watson, so 1 additional success.
Are you kidding me? That's okay. I'm not rerolling that because that was another 6. That's 6 with Watson. It was 5,
All
but I
right.
kept rerolling 6. So
He appears to be telling the truth. He very much is confused by like the paint in the bucket and everything. He really much paints a story of being out in the wilderness, and having 2 young people come at him, in a very
You
aggressive.
didn't even
manner.
you didn't even ask
Look-
who we were. You just shot at us.
Mr. Fluffs.
Another
This is the thing.
Oliver, that you notice as you're talking, your eyes flicker to one of the paintings,
Uh-huh.
and one of the paintings looks similar to Mrs. Stapleton.
Like, look just like her.
Kind of hard to say. Someone can deduce after being pointed out this, if you guys want.
Hey, Gertrude, doesn't that look like Mrs. Stapleton over there?
And I'm just gonna squint at the painting. I guess so. So All right, so we got one success.
Holy crap! All right, you got a Watson. So, so this is a clue. I kind of expedited it because it's just one clue. So you can uncover one. Lead A is perhaps Mrs. Stapleton was painted by Sir Charles Baskerville. B, perhaps Mrs. Stapleton is a Baskerville and this painting is a relative. Or C, perhaps Mrs. Stapleton was secretly married to Sir Charles Baskerville. You can only unveil one.
Wait,
Dang.
didn't we find out earlier she was secretly married to her brother?
There was kind of a feeling of that, but nothing
We
confirmed.
never confirmed. We just found out that she was kind of married. And then we also heard from Fluffle's interaction that she says she's divorced.
She
Yeah.
got married,
Recently
killed
divorced.
the former Baskerville to inherit the Baskerville estate.
Yeah, and she wants him to leave so she can get everything, keep everything.
So
to
was she
herself.
married to Sir Charles? Is that what we're leading up to? Is that
I mean, you get to ask that. Like,
Yeah,
that was
one of these is unveiled. Which would you like
what
it to
we're
be?
going with? We're gonna okay. Well, the lead that says that she's secretly married to a Baskerville.
Is false.
It's false. So we were.
So she's either a Baskerville or she's the woman in the painting.
Well, I mean, it's obvious then that she's a Baskerville. That she is a Baskerville. Secretly married the other dude, but not really secret because, or I mean, secret, but it doesn't matter because they're not siblings or akin.
Can we ask John if he recognizes the woman in the painting as our neighbor?
No, I'm sad to say I don't.
I'm gonna point the gun at him.
Whoa. And you guys suddenly notice that Henry Baskerville is nowhere.
Oh, the dog got him. Mystery's over. All right, so Henry, it's probably that Henry painted her. But it doesn't matter whether he painted her or whether she's a Baskerville. Or,
Oh,
yeah.
so you think that he killed his brother for the estate so that he could live here with her?
Look, man, I didn't say that, but let's find him.
Let's go find Mr. Henry.
All right. You guys notice that there is a letter. Looks like it's been recently opened on like the mantle right inside the main hall.
Can you read it,
Read
Mr.
it.
Fluffles?
Reading it.
Reading it, it says that there is an emergency at the Stapleton home and that Mr. Stapleton requests the aid of Dr. Mortimer and Sir Henry.
To the Stapleton home.
To the Stapletons.
All right,
You
so you
just want to
guys,
go have sex. That's all you want.
everyone gets another point of resolve as you guys run across the moors.
Yep. Gonna book it in
you...
slippers.
As you run, you come upon Dr. Mortimer, who has fallen off of his horse. The hound spooked it, and the poor creature was hurt. Look, it's the hound of the Baskervilles. As you guys
It's just a
look
dog.
up- as you guys look up and see in the distance a great beast glowing and bounding off. I told Sir Henry to go on without me. Please go help him. With such a beast on the prowl, I feel fear for his life and the life of the Stapletons.
Can we use endurance to
Yeah,
pick up with the dog? Because I can do that.
me too.
So you cannot catch up with a dog. That's just physically impossible. in
How
this
big is
game.
this thing?
It's pretty large.
Like Mastiff size?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, all right, I'll let it go. But we're gonna speed run across to the Stapleton, wherever the.
All right. So you guys come into the Stapleton house. You hear shouting coming from further into the domicile.
Hey, just to clarify, I want to be like behind, pretty far behind, because I would have been like, hold on a second, and I'd have darted into the house, and I'm looking for meat. I'm looking for like
meat?
sausages, things like that.
Yeah, you can go run into the kitchen and grab like a slice of ham.
Can it be a little bit? I'm looking for, like, I think this dog is a real dog that's
Mhm.
painted at this point, so I'm trying to see if I can.
Want
Hey,
some
puppy.
red meat.
Yeah.
All right, you can grab some red meat.
All right, and then I'll meet up with him.
All right. So as you guys come into this final area, you see that Sir Henry is cornered by the Hound, with the Stapletons watching on the far side of their home.
I'm gonna shoot it.
You just
Oh, there you go.
Boom. All right, go ahead.
I don't have any shooting skills. Can I use defense?
You can't use defense, but you can use your resolve points.
What about criminal artistry?
We'll work on it, but you'll have a minor disadvantage, so -1 to the pool.
You have perception. Wouldn't that be what a gun uses?
I
No,
think
it's more of like a.
There's one
Dexter-
that's actually shooting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you.
All right, so I'm gonna use 2 of my points,
Mhm.
and then I've got 2 for criminal artistry. So that is a 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, and I got a Moriarty.
Shoot.
Oh no.
So any that
So
failed,
That brings me
negate.
down to a 4.
Okay, that's not too bad. You clip the beast and it turns and growls at you. Everyone make an observation test.
While
If
I
you have it, or perception.
While I,
perception, you can do
I'm
that.
gonna scream, "Take your clothes off and throw it to the side! It
I'm
smells your
gonna have 3
clothes."
for observation.
I got 1 success.
Okay, I got. All right, look here. I got 5.
Ooh, who got 5?
I did because I kept rolling. I'm gonna put these dice away because I feel like
Great cheating.
I mean, use
I
it.
feel like
bro.
I am. Well, I feel like I am, but I usually have shit rolls.
Yeah. So you notice that Jack is holding back Mrs. Stapleton. But in his other hand, you notice that he has a pistol holstered in the small of his back.
I sling the meat at his face.
at Mr. Stapleton.
Yep.
you sling the meat, and it just slaps him in the face.
I'm like, and I go, "Here, pup!" and I throw it at his face.
the pup turns around, growls, but looks back at Sir Henry instead. This dog looks pretty well trained.
You can't kill us all. We know what's going on. Give up.
Who are you telling?
That to Stapleton.
I'm gonna throw myself between the dog and Mr. Baskerville.
All right.
You go get
as you do, Mrs. Stapleton runs with you as well.
Oh my
kind of
god.
working to protect you.
We'll die together, Mrs. Stapleton. I know.
As she grabs onto you and the dog lunges forward. You see Jack starting to run as well, pulling out his pistol and aiming it at you guys. As he fires a shot, and it clips Mrs. Stapleton as she falls into your arms.
Oh, my love.
No.
The dog from the shot kind of whimpers and then jumps out of the window as Jack continues to run out of the hall. What do you
Can I
guys
try
do?
to trip him with my stick?
Yeah.
All right. Would that be like a fight?
Yeah, definitely a fight. And what are you doing, Gertrude?
Okay, how do I look for fights? Sorry.
It'll just be a skill. I don't know if you would have it though.
Oh, I don't have it. See, I'm very useless in this situation. I can act as though I'm ready for a fight. Is that a thing? Can I do that? Like pretend like I'm fisticuffs?
Yeah, definitely.
Bring it on, you brute. Hey, I got 3 successes.
What'd you roll,
Yeah.
Mitch?
Oh yeah. I got a 2.
Okay, so I have 4 successes.
All right. So as Mrs. Stapleton falls in Mr. Fluffer's arm, gasping for breath as her like white gown starts to blossom with bread across her stomach, Oliver runs forward and trips Mr. Stapleton as he falls to the ground. And he looks like he's about to get up, but Gertrude is over him with this look like "I will end you." Very much
Yeah.
looking like as intimidating as what Meryl Streep in Devil Wears Prada. Someone you do not want to fuck with. And he gives up.
Cool.
And I still look fashionable and smell great.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna look at Mrs. Stapleton as she's bleeding out of my arms, and I'm gonna say, Mrs. Stapleton, I mean Mrs. Baskerville, I love you.
She kind of touches your cheek, just as the doctor comes in and starts to tend to her wound. So we are going to flash forward several days from this moment as you guys are back in Bakertown, or back on Baker Street. After Beryl Stapleton, who you guys know as who's actually a Baskerville, the sister to Henry, she will confess everything. That she is a Baskerville, but never wanted the estate and didn't even think a woman could inherit it. She is married to, or was married to, Jack Stapleton, and she hated her husband and his plots. She confesses he grew tired of her and was only using her for the possibility of the inheritance. He had affections for some other woman. Nonetheless, Jack Stapleton was thrown in prison, and depending on what you guys say, Miss Baskerville may very well be thrown in as well.
What about the guy that shot at us? I feel like he should go to jail for shooting a child.
Oh, Selden? Yeah, definitely. You guys tell the police that the murderer is obviously in the Baskervilles Hall, and he, along with his parents, were arrested.
I'm not in the. If there's police around, I'm not there.
Of course. He's out of the room. So I'm just going to use my famous face and be like, please leave Mrs. Stapleton alone. She had nothing to do with this.
All right.
I need
If that's, you don't need to roll. If that's the case, the law will look favorably, and she divorces Jack Stapleton. And kind of as the final scene exits off, Gertrude is off in the opera house singing one of the best performances of her life, with Mr. Fluffer in like the second row, with Miss Baskerville resting her head upon his shoulder, and Oliver not too far away.
probably stealing my pearls. But
Yeah. Taking all your candies from your dressing room.
I just bought them last week.
Too bad that he never got to bitch about his shoe missing from his house.
It's probably still missing.
Yeah.
The next case is just a case of the missing shoe. But ladies and gentlemen, that was Baker Street, the Spectral Hound. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
In case
Yeah.
you're curious about which book that was from, check out Hound the Baskerville.
Yep. They definitely took some liberties with that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. What'd you guys think?
That
It's
was
fun.
super easy to follow.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a lot going on.
The roles are a lot easier in this than I've played in other systems. Easier to go. I know I have to roll X,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I like how it allowed other people to interact in between, because in games like D&D and such, when you have to sit there and okay, you're fighting, so you're rolling, you're doing charisma checks, so you're rolling. It's like, but what if? And makes it a little more fun and interactive.
Yeah, I enjoyed the story component of it, like having all of this and like the way that you find out the information just coming together, and it was kind of like a mystery that we were just trying to solve.
Yeah, I did like it. It felt like an escape room with like part of it was like what do you cross out as being unveiled and what's really important to know and etc. like that. So it was pretty
I
interesting.
am curious though, does it have like a rule set for when you have just pure out crap rollers? Because I mean, if we didn't get any of those, then it's just a lot of maybes and if thens. How does it go?
So as the investigators like waste time or go places that are red herrings, the threat level goes higher and higher. And the worst case is that, the criminals could have gotten away. So in this case, Jack Stapleton probably could have gotten out of the area before you guys figured out, because the assumption is that in Sherlock Holmes investigation is that you will be successful. Eventually you will uncover the mystery. It's just, can you do it in a time when it is relevant the most, or do the criminals get away and you have to the chase continues.
Okay.
Yeah, I would see that happening with a few of the other well-known Sherlock Holmes mysteries, because they're really hard when you're reading about it, and then
there are
it's like completely different from what the books were.
Yeah, there are 3 different case books, and Bryce Whitaker is a historian, and he loves the Sherlock Holmes books, and I would say he's like an expert on it, but he might disagree. But yeah, he knows his Holmes.
So are these all based off of actual stories in the books?
Yeah, this
so,
is
like, if you
the Hound
the
of
books, then
Baskerville.
you already got the answers.
Kinda, but the books also, no matter how many times you read them, you're like, oh, I noticed something different, and then something different.
Like he said, like he's had people who's read the stories before, but generally like you've read it like years before, so you might kind of remember what happens, but it's still like what exactly happens. Also, some things are changed, like for the Spectral Hound. This is in the book or the story, it goes on for much longer. But obviously for the pacing of an adventure, it had to be sped up a little bit. So there are things like that changed. I remember when I was interviewing, he had a challenge because there's one Sherlock Holmes story where he is told this story and Sherlock Holmes pieces the whole thing together just by sitting 5 hours in a chair. He does nothing but thinks upon the whole investigation and figures it out just from his chair. But he had to figure out how to change that into an adventure. And I have the 3rd case book, so I assume there are at least 3 case books. So they have a lot of great writers who have kind of created new stuff, as well as translated a lot of the stories to an adventure format.
Yeah, I'd like to see how this plays out. If you did fail, like, is it up to the DM at that point to keep continuing the story? Because I'm assuming it's not in the book that says if they fail, do this.
I mean, in the core rule book, it says the people get away if you get to that last threat level. And for this one, in fact, because they have the threat levels, and for people like if you're a player and you are interested, you probably shouldn't have been watching this, but. Yeah.
Yep.
But the threat level goes from 1 to end game. With 1, like 1's no longer work on the Sherlock die. 2 no longer work. When you get to threat level 4, Moriarty's just results in an automatic failure. And then after that, the end game is Stapleton kills Henry Baskerville and reveals his wife to be the heir to the Baskervilles. He then will run off with the most money, leaving the estate to her. He erases all evidence that he ever controlled or owned a hound. He is untouchable from the perspective of the law.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. So it had a thing in there. And I really like how it has that Moriarty die and all the special dies that the storyteller has to give. because it adds that extra little bit of, oh crap, or hey, that really was helpful,
Mhm.
without the DM having to just fluff stuff. So it allows you to tell the story and let the die do the randomness.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
Hmm.
All right, so that was Penny for a Tale plays Baker Street. Definitely, if you're going to PAX Unplugged, check them out. I do believe Fearlight Games will be there, though Bryce Whitaker is currently in China, so he will not be. So why don't you guys each give a send-off, and then we'll wave and cheer as our Deering fans run off into the night, doing their evil doings. So Jasmine, why don't you start?
Well, like I said, I run the Twitch channel, the Geeky Nomad. You can go follow, like, whatever the little button thing is now with Twitch since we've updated. I'm also available on other social media under the same name. We'll be back to a normal stream schedule for Fridays, Sundays, and I believe Wednesdays for IRL streams. And that'll be when we go visit the National Video Game Museum in April. And then we'll also be heading down to Dragon Con again this year. And I'll show you the process for joining a chapter and becoming like a character for that. Probably it's going to be like a Fortnite group this year. And then I don't know what else we're going to have planned for 2020, but it's going to be great. I know that. And Gertrude will return if we ever do play this game again. So
Yeah, I have like a full case of all these. They're really good.
All right. So I'll
Terry, why
go-
don't you go ahead?
Oh, I was gonna leave Terry for
Oh,
last
sorry.
because
Corey,
I
go
don't
ahead.
have a lot to say. I will say for the people watching, Oliver is going to hawk that freaking silver cane, so don't worry about that. It's gone.
We were all
but-
worried.
Other than that, all the stuff I would have to say, I'll leave to Terry because it's all about LARP.com.
All right, Terry.
All right. So, hi, everyone. Again, my name's Terry, and LARP.com. Yeah, we do lots of live action events. Go to conventions too, actually, in the first quarter of 2020, and that's going to be fun. All up and down the East Coast. We've got events in Texas that we're going to. You can check out our site, LARP.com, or on Facebook, facebook.com/LARPcom. I know, original, right? But we're always trying new things out, and would love to have you come and join us.
Yeah, definitely check them out. I know we have information on our Facebook as well. So things to look out for: Penny for a Tale. We have an Age Pass campaign that is coming up. Should be after the Thanksgiving break sometime. Furthermore, I am very interested in an Alien campaign. That might be really cool. As well as the Legacy of Oakwood Heights, which is the Penny for a Tale unofficial sequel to Oakwood Heights, should be coming out before 2020. So make sure to check that out. But everyone have a lovely time. Do whatever you want. Party up. Bye, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Bye, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, the Turkey Day.